And now it's time for Fabulous Film and Friends. On this 120th episode of the Triple F, we're going to chip away at the rock-solid box office pairing of author Andy Weir and screenwriter Drew Goddard as we discuss their two sci-fi smash hits, 2015's The Martian, directed by Ridley Scott and starring Matt Damon, Jessica Chastain, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Kristen Wiig, Michael Peña, Sean Bean, Kate Mara, Sebastian Stan, MacKenzie Davis, Donald Glover, and Jeff Daniels, along with 2026's Project Hail Mary, directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller and starring Ryan Gosling, Sandra Hüller, and James Ortiz as the lovable and wacky alien Rocky. Returning to the show to discuss these crowd-pleasing and visually spectacular space epics is none other than Dr. David Johnson, DMD. Dave, welcome back.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure to have you, Dave. Say, warm us up by giving us your best Rocky the Alien impression. For a second, I thought I was in outer space trying to converse with an alien. All right.
Yeah, that's as good as I got, Gene. Sorry.
That was awesome. That's better than any of Alex's impressions. All right, before
I don't know what I said though.
Oh, what's that?
I don't know what I said, but
I do.
Okay.
You said family is the most important thing.
Oh, I didn't know this is a Fast and Furious episode. Are we talking about Lou Toretto or Dom Toretto? Dom Toretto, yeah.
Dom. Hey, Dom. It's about family. Okay, before we drift into deep space, the synopses. In The Martian, astronaut Mark Watney is impaled and presumed dead during a wicked Martian storm, which causes his crew of astronaut explorers to launch an emergency evacuation from the planet. Alive, wounded, and alone on Mars, Watney must use science, engineering, and endurance to survive long enough for Earth to mount an impossible rescue mission. In Project Hail Mary, Ryland Grace, a lone astronaut suffering from memory loss, awakens aboard a spacecraft on a desperate deep space mission and gradually discovers he is humanity's last hope against a cosmic extinction event. Along the way, he encounters an alien astronaut from another species sent on a similar mission to protect its own civilization. Can the two work together to save their respective planets? Are these films fabulous or fails? Find out. Okay, Dave, I have called on you as a secret weapon of late because the last three films we've discussed are squarely in your wheelhouse. We had Dancing and Grooving Michael, putting on a tough fit with Prada 1 and 2, and now your biggest passion and strength, hard science. Are these, lay it on us, Dave, are these the best of hard science fiction?
Well, okay, let's clarify. Hard science. I'm no engineer. I'm no astrophysicist. I had a microbiology undergrad and a chemistry.
Steeped in science. Come on.
Okay, so
your cousin Bill, your dad. It's a science family. Let's stop being modest.
Well,
and dentistry is a science. Let's face it. It's the science of the teeth.
Okay. I'm just going to say Project Hail Mary was a little far-fetched for me. I mean, we're out on the, fringes of, the astrophage and all that stuff,
Have you heard of the astrophage? Is that something bandied about in Omni or anything that you ever read about? I never heard about it until this movie.
No, I think that's made up, I think. I mean, I did do a little research on it. The Martian has more legitimate science behind it, except the, a big windstorm on Mars because Mars has less of an atmosphere than the Earth. That, 100 and whatever miles per hour windstorm is not going to be as if, you won't feel it up on Mars as you would here. So that was a little exaggeration, but
it was a 300 mile an hour storm.
Maybe. I mean, was it the best hardcore science? I would probably say, I think as far as The Martian and botany, I think that was pretty cool in chemistry, but
Was there
Neither one of
anything
these are my
fake? I
favorite.
didn't. I haven't. I don't hang around. I'm a nerd, but I'm more of a drama darling nerd. Now, of course, my premise with both these films is drama darlings and science nerds are becoming one and the same person. But anyway,
Yeah.
but
No,
my specialty is drama. I don't know. I haven't researched it. I don't care. But was all that plausible? Him growing the potatoes and all that?
I mean, technically, yeah, except the soil on Mars has toxic chemicals in it.
Mhm.
So I guess you would have to wash that. I don't know if he did. I mean, there are some, there's some problems with it, but as far as the two sciences, the Martian felt like he was legitimately doing science today compared to Project Hail Mary, which was just kind of like, I don't know, imagination science fiction. I think there were some mathematics involved, and I'm not a mathematician. My son is, but anyway, I'm trying to think of the best
Did you consult with
hardcore.
your son?
No,
Did you ask
he's
him what
too
he
busy.
thought about? Did he see Project Hail Mary?
I don't know if he's seen it. He's so busy in school right
Mm.
now that I mean, there are no Star Wars. I mean, talk about hardcore science. I mean,
But
No,
I've argued before with other fellow podcasters, namely my friends Ken and Dante, and they qualify Star Wars as science fiction, which I don't at all.
No,
Star
I
Wars is
wouldn't.
space fantasy to me. It's like
Yeah,
no, that's not it. It's not a. Anyway, so that's my opinion. When I'm talking about science fiction, it's 2001 or Star Trek
yeah.
or anything in between.
I'm the same way. I agree. I agree with your statement that it's becoming, how did you put it, science and
Well,
draw.
I said the drama darlings and the science geeks are
Yeah,
becoming the same the
yeah,
same caricature. They're both getting really irritating, and that's so there's seeds. There's that not seeds. There's plants in The Martian, which is why I didn't like. I never I saw the movie when it came out. I thought it was fine, but I didn't love it. And I remember I was discussing with Roseanne, who probably should have been here for that reason. We were talking about why it didn't matter, and Roseanne made a good point. She said Chiwetel Ejiofor, who had just maybe 2 years before been nominated for 12 Years a Slave, and she said with the furrow of
yeah,
his brow, he could, I remember Roseanne writing this or saying it. She said with the furrow of his brow, he could demonstrate just the terror and the stress and the fear he was feeling, and it was all undercut with all these jokey scenes of or he and MacKenzie Davis are like, does he mean what the fuck or what the fuck? It's all this
yeah,
like. I just think they'd be working on the problem,
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I think. Okay, first of all, before we launch into getting into nitpicking and bitching about these films, do you like them?
I appreciated The Martian better than Project Hail Mary. I was kind of bored with Project Hail Mary. Um, but would I watch them both again? No. Just like Interstellar, I don't think I'd watch that one again. I'm just trying to compare other
I'd watch
current.
that one again over these, honestly.
I think I would agree, but they're not. None of them are my favorite. I mean, like to me, I'm just like I would watch. 2001 Space Odyssey. I do like the older Star Treks. The new ones I don't really care for.
Yeah.
And I would have to put in Blade
I'm saying
Runner and
yeah as
science fiction.
nonchalantly as I can. I'm dying to launch into my Star Trek rants,
Yeah.
but I'm not. I'm going to
and
spare you, and I'm going to
yeah,
spare the audience.
spare me.
I'm
And the
sparing you.
original Blade Runner, I think, is science fiction.
Sure, of course, of course.
And that to me is the pinnacle of a science fiction movie. For me,
Sure.
that's my favorite of all time.
Yeah, but Blade Runner still sort of veers into the more fantastical. These are basically movies about what's possible essentially now, right? I mean,
Well, I
obviously
don't know about the
obviously
astrophage.
going to Mars is a bit of a
Yeah,
stretch, but it's very possible, right? I mean,
yeah.
they're Elon Musk and everybody's working on it. So it's not out of the realm of okay, this could happen. This just wouldn't happen. Blade Runner's a bit. I mean, it's the ideas
Well,
are there, and of course it could happen, but it's still years away, and it's still it's still sort of a dystopian look. It's a little different than our reality. Whereas the
I'm
Martian
looking
and
at.
this movie are
Oh,
set in our
go ahead.
reality, right?
Yeah, I agree, but I'm looking at Blade Runner from the androids. I mean, we're getting there with
No,
robots and
of
stuff
course,
like that.
but
Yeah, the dystopian
stylistically,
side. Yeah, the dystopian side. I get. Yeah,
no, I'm just
I
saying
agree with that.
stylistically, Blade Runner is more of a piece of art than this is more. This more veers into almost like if it, well, not documentary, but it's a reality based approach to
Yeah,
science. So it feels like it could really be happening. You know,
yeah, yeah,
it's not allegory. Blade Runner is more into allegory and Planet of the Apes. Some of the best science fiction's sort of allegorical about our society.
yeah.
This really is just sort of problem solving, right? I
I
mean,
I agree, and I think that The Martian is more hardcore science than Project Hail Mary
yeah,
to me. Yeah, like
yeah.
because he's using things that science methods and chemical formulas that are legitimate.
Hmm.
I mean, so I'll give that credit, but back to your question, these aren't my favorite science fiction movies,
So
but
okay, so the next question is, what's wrong with them that don't put them on the Blade Runner level?
um, okay, personally, for me, Project Hail Mary, I hated the alien Rocky. I could not stand it. That whole interaction, friendship, linguistically breaking down the aliens' language in a matter of weeks, that's like impossible.
Yeah.
And then Matt Damon is just not my favorite actor.
Well,
Favorite
wait,
actor.
Matt Damon or Ryan Gosling?
Well, I like Ryan Gosling better, but I'm saying from the Martian standpoint,
Oh,
like he just bothers me for some reason, and so and as far as Blade Runner, I mean, come on, it's Harrison Ford. I love the vibe of the whole film. Um,
okay.
Cinematically,
So
it's
then
just
let's.
amazing.
Blade Runner is not a fair comparison. Let's take 2001 then, in terms of just hard science fiction.
Um, well, I mean, geez, I have to go back to my memory banks. What's the computer name?
Hal.
Hal, straight up amazing. Just and that is reasonable, right?
Oh, for sure.
Having that,
More
that's
appropriate now than
modern day.
ever.
Yeah, yeah, and he's heartless,
Especially, I was arguing with
ruthless.
AI. I was arguing with
Yeah,
AI about these two films. The AI got it wrong today. The brains melt on AI. That said that The Martian hasn't come out, or not The Martian. Project Hail Mary has yet to come out. Where I was like, "What are you talking about?"
yeah.
The brain melts on it all the time.
But
So
you can't argue with AI. They're always
exactly,
right, just like Hal.
no, it's just like Hal. So yeah, I
Yeah,
feel it all the time.
yeah. So I think 2001 cinematically was amazing. And I'll give credit to Project Hail Mary. I think cinematically it was kind of cool, like being out in space and the CGI. I don't know how they made this stuff. I'm assuming all CGI, not models and stuff, right?
Yeah.
More cinematic than The Martian. The Martian was just more of a
Mm.
gritty kind of. He's just in his little
Yeah, but the
makeshift
Martian's
shelter.
Ridley Scott, and Blade Runner's own
Oh,
Ridley Scott,
yeah,
and it
yeah,
looks it's a big looking movie. I mean, it's
yeah.
got big effects, and of the I'd say the strength of the Martian is the everyday sort of workman like approach to science and living on Mars, and it looks really good. You never go, oh, that looks fake. It always
Yeah,
looks pretty good.
yeah.
I mean, it's not Total Recall where you're going, what is this? you know.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. I
Talking,
don't know if I
oh, that's
answered your
hard science. That's hard
question.
science.
That's science fiction. I mean,
yeah.
that's real science.
Yeah,
That's science fiction.
yeah. I don't like them. So again, The Martians, yes, The Martian's better than Project Hail Mary. I didn't like I thought I didn't like The Martian at all. I kind of dismissed it as I was saying. Like I didn't really think about it. I saw it. I went, it's okay. and then thought it was not like didn't thought I never want to see that again. And then I see Project Hail Mary, and I should point out that my wife and I saw Project Hail Mary in a crowd full of my age group. It was all oldies, gray-haired oldies. And it was 2 months after the movie's come out, and it's already on streaming, and it was still packed. I mean, we just saw it last week. And they were, so it's not even it's not even a youth, like a generational problem where I'm just grumpy because the younger generation likes, gets the jokes and I don't. The oldies, except for me, with my arms folded, they were chuckling and a knee slap. They loved all the jokes. And I was, the first, you said you hated the alien, but I didn't warm up to the film at all until the alien showed up. Not that I like Mac and Me and E.T. so much, but at least I could buy that he was sarcastic with it. But the first hour when he doesn't have a memory or anything, I was like, what is this? What's with all the jokes and the drinking and the dancing? How about trying to solve the problem a little bit? I just thought it was too glib. It was too very jokey. So I was just irritated the first hour at least, or whenever he runs into the alien. I just said, this feels like The Martian, but with even more quote unquote irreverent drama darling humor,
Yeah.
And he like, so I'm confused. Like, well, he's alone. He's in a coma. Did we ever really get down to why those other crew members died?
I don't remember they ever explained why.
Yeah. So I did.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't need to explain too much. In this case, well, how'd they die? I thought we were going to get a flashback that said, they died trying to save him or something. He was their last hope. I had no idea what the hell happened. Did they die of a cold? Did they get pneumonia? What?
I don't know. Something with their pod
humanity's
or
last hope. So wouldn't there be some sort of, hey, bummer, bro, your crew members died and shit, but you got to figure this out. He has to figure everything out, like who he is. Like there's no guidance whatsoever. I just thought, okay, I'm not buying that. Like this movie felt off for the first. So the alien stuff. Have we seen it before? Absolutely. So I can think beyond Mac and Me. Boy, Mac, wouldn't you like to go to McDonald's? Or E.T. You got Arrival. Yeah, so this movie starts off. So think of all the movies about the civilization ending, event. You got that in my life in the last 20 years. It's Deep Impact, Armageddon, Red Planet, Mission to Mars, Interstellar, Sunshine, Danny Boyle's movie with Cillian Murphy and so there's this plot. I mean, we've been seeing this plot forever. Oh, the big event's gonna kill us. We got to save the planet. So that didn't feel new. And then you couple it with the Arrival /ET / okay. And you think about there's another movie. Did you ever see Enemy Mine with
I haven't seen that one.
Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr. It came out in '85 after Jaws 3D. They were paired up in Jaws 3D, and then 2 years later they did another movie called Enemy Mine, which is actually a pretty good movie. It's not great. I mean, people never think about it, but I saw it because the effects are done by ILM back in the day, and I was like, oh, but it never came to Ontario, so I had to wait for video. But I was like, oh, when's that Enemy Mine coming out? And it came and went. Like nobody was interested.
Yeah.
And I think over time it sort of gained a following. But that essentially they're enemies. They're enemies stuck on a planet, and they have to work together and save each other. And Louis Gossett Jr. Spoilers, everybody, gives birth to his own baby, and then Dennis Quaid ends up. Dennis Quaid.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
He's a lizard alien, so he gives birth to his own baby, and Dennis Quaid ends up raising the child and then becoming the hero of the planet. Like he becomes honored by Louis Gossett's planet at the end of the movie for peace and love and all that. Not incredibly deep, but this movie reminded me of that too. I'm thinking, okay, this movie just feels like all right, why is this huge smash? Because it feels like every movie we've been watching, every sci-fi movie we've been watching, in addition to all the jokes, and in addition to the contrivance of him figuring out the language lickety split, like this feels like he's a rock making squeaks. Seems really hard to figure out his language.
Yeah. Even with an AI computer.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
did I forget? Some of that was in the dark, and I was going to the bathroom a lot because I was kind of bored. Did the alien take his computer and jig it up a bit so he could talk? I forget.
No, I think if I remember right, Ryan Gosling just recorded his voice, and they had pictures. He would draw things, and then he would say, "Oh, this is this." So there was a lot of speculation on what each tone meant.
Right.
From the end.
Right. Yeah. I remember that.
So
sure.
he could have been saying, you're insane. What do you I'm not helping you. He's oh, you like me. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it definitely felt a little pat. Yeah, I'd say him learning to fly was a little pat too. He wasn't an astronaut.
No.
And that seemed really
he was
so drugged. They were just going to leave him in a coma and just hope for the best?
I guess. I mean, it doesn't sound like a smart plan.
No.
But and he's a teacher, and then
he's not an astronaut. He's not a pilot. No. So,
and then he gets drugged. He wakes up on this spaceship. He doesn't know.
I have a hard time with video games with Z space. Can you imagine actually flying something in an area in a medium where you can get lost really fast? Yeah. So it just seemed everything seemed a little cute. Yeah, he had the training montage. But even still, he learned to fly to the planet pretty easily,
Well, and one thing about, okay, so you have a crew you're sending up, right?
Yeah.
In Project Hail Mary. And I'm going back to, Alien and Aliens. You have a whole bunch of people on a ship. You only have 3 on this ship. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't, you would think there would be a bigger crew because 2 of them died and now, hey, good luck. Right. You got to figure everything out. You got to figure out how to fly. You got to,
Not to mention, all right, spoilers, everybody. Not to mention, they knock him out.
Yeah,
they inject him.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'll do it. But it's like, gosh, this movie's just, I don't know. I didn't read the book. Read any of these Andy Weir?
I haven't read either one.
Yeah.
I've heard The Martian is better.
Yeah.
I think, but I haven't read either one.
What's the science community tell you?
I mean,
do they love the guy? They must. I mean, he's a best-selling author.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's a bestseller.
So scientists are just like so desperate for attention. Even though that most shows are science fiction, right? Oh, it's about science. I love it. Is it like that? Like horror movie fans? Oh, as long as somebody's dying, I love it. You're like, what?
I haven't listened to any. I read some stuff about the movies and the books, but I haven't, listened to actual scientists being interviewed. Hey, what do you think about this? But I would assume they would say, oh, I love it. Just to your point, because science is great.
I remember seeing Crimson Tide, which I thought was nothing but hogwash with some Navy guys, and they thought it was great.
Yeah.
And they were like, it was so what? It was dumb. They didn't care that it was dumb. They knew it was dumb. They didn't care. They just liked the whole vibe. Which I think is like, that's kind of weird because I think if you're going to do if I was a cop and there was just most cop movies are full of crap, I would be like, come on, that's not going to happen,
Yeah. And I'm the same way. There aren't many movies about dentists, but if there were.
So how about that Little Shop of Horrors? You just, that is so fake.
I do like Steve Martin.
That is so fake.
I mean, that one I will give credit, but like Corbin Bernstein, the dentist, where it's kind of a horror flick. I mean, there are, but I would be the same way. I'm like, okay, that's ridiculous. You don't do it that way.
Have you ever done a dentist movie where the guy's just a cockballer? Seems like dentist. That's the gig. Dentist is like fashion photography. If you want women, and you're laughing because I've done a lot of videos for dentists. I've done when I was starting out. I did a lot of $200 videos for dentists. Those guys got it going on.
Some do. We're a weird group. We're like the science nerds, but we're all a little bit off. So yeah.
All right. All right. Plastic surgeons and dentists. I did a lot of videos for those guys. It's like, man, if you want to get women, there's a profession.
We're just, you
Here
know.
I thought it was acting.
Nobody likes us, Gene, till they need us.
Yeah, yeah. But okay. So, getting back to the topic at hand. The Martian. So The Martian is definitely the better film because it actually has the stakes feel immediate and you have a decent setup. You
Yeah.
know, I thought the setup of The Martian's pretty good, right? You know,
Yeah.
he's trying to he's with the crew. He gets impaled by a piece of machinery, and what the satellite dish or something. Something impales him and blows him clear away from the crew. They want to go. Jessica Chastain wants to go after him, but the rescue crew's going, "No, Commander, no, we gotta go. We're all gonna die." And they take off. And they think he's dead, and then he wakes up and he's alive. Good premise. You're like, okay, this is good stuff. And then he immediately starts joking, which I'm like, okay, it's not as bad as Project Hail Mary, but it's still kind of like, too many jokes for my taste, considering who's he joking to, you know?
Well, and the circumstances.
Yeah.
Because if I was stuck on Mars, I'd be, holy shit, what am I going to do?
No,
I'm not going to be
think
joking with myself.
The jokes. Now they say, oh, people joke to undermine tension. That's natural, obviously. Yeah. However, you have again the gold standard is Apollo 13. There's some jokes in Apollo 13, but the mission, it's based on real life, so that's, you could say, oh, well, that's not quite the same thing, but the gold standard being everybody's super serious about getting these guys home. Yeah. They can joke to each other. There's some asides, there's some jokes, but they're never like, oh yeah, this is whatever. I'm going to drink to death. You know, it just seems like they take this. And I like that. I like that kind of attitude of, okay, we got to solve this problem. And yeah, obviously in his log, he can make some jokes to himself. But it just seems like he's being such like almost kind of a dipshit or a douchebag about like, I am gonna die here if I have to listen to any more Donna Summers. I just don't think he would care. I don't think you know. Would. It just seemed dumb, and they were, like I say, being giant, you know, drama darlings. Drama darlings being a euphemism for how we used to call them in high school. And I say this being who became one of them, you know, like, they're just show offs, and it's like, look at me, like me, and they're irritating. And now, and I've seen that it's on Star Trek, all the cool Shatner, again, Shatner, Nimoy, DeForest Kelley. Sure, there was interplay and humor, but the mission was always serious. But now, if you watch Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, they got this, or Discovery, they just got the most irritating characters going, that's the power. They got Spock saying stuff like, that's the power of science, people. You're like, oh, jeez Louise, who the hell writes this stuff, and why? I think, and now the science community's embracing it. You know.
Well, you know, I think an example of a film that. So this is a little side quest here, but the Tom Hanks film when he's on the island. What is that one?
Castaway.
Castaway. Okay, so he's on an island on Earth.
Yeah.
And there's no humor in that at all. Yeah. It's just the mission to get out. But here you have Matt Damon on Mars, and he's, you know, joking, making jokes, and just I think if, you know, you're in that situation, you're going to be like pretty serious about, I got to figure out how to survive.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. You know, and you say you don't like Matt Damon. When he was in the Bourne Identity phase, I liked him. I thought he looked cool. Yeah. I liked the Bourne Identity. I mean, obviously he can't play Jason Bourne every time, so maybe he was like, hey, I need way more jokes. I don't want to be Jason Bourne, you know, stuck on Mars. Maybe. But his character is sort of mildly irritating. And then it transfers to Donald Glover and, you know, doing the little spaceship thing with Jeff Daniels, and Jeff Daniels being the grump. And it's like, well, if Jeff Daniels is a grump, Why would he do that? And wouldn't anybody just go, no. You're like,
Yeah.
no. You know, like when he's doing his own, okay, I'm going to rock it around. And it just seems like, okay, they're being drama darlings and they're being like cutesy to explain to the moron. Again, I just hate that too. Everybody in the audience is a moron, and we have to explain everything so in a really basic term so you get it. Like I am into film and film music and not science. And I
Yeah.
got what was happening. Like, and
Yeah.
so I'm watching the second time just for this podcast. I'm going, yeah, I remember thinking this is stupid. He wouldn't do that unless, you know, you're talking about the head of NASA or whatever Jeff Daniels' role is. He's a chief.
Yeah.
Just knocking out. I don't care how Gen Z Donald Glover is. It's like, yeah, okay. And then maybe there's going to be some, oh no, my boss is totally cool with us acting like dorks. You know,
Yeah.
well, maybe. I mean, it's a much more casual world. Hell, everybody wears pajamas to work now. But, you
Yeah.
know, so I don't know. But it's just, to me, it just seems like you're being cute so the audience understands what you're talking about. But I understood it the minute he said it. Like, yes, you mean we're going to rescue? Oh, yeah, I figured as much since Jessica Chastain is your mission commander and not, you know,
Yeah.
Schmo McSchmoey. You know, it's like, yes, you've got a star. She's obviously going to go back and get him. You know, like
Yeah.
they didn't set her up like, oh, yeah, once you lose Matt Damon, you're done in the movie. You know, like it just seems like you don't need this explanation. It's cutesy. It's stupid. And then Jeff Daniels conversely is playing uber grump about everything. You know, I just thought it was all kind of dumb, you know, especially the second time going, hell yeah, I forgot about it because I saw it and forgot about it. But the second time I'm like, yeah, it's definitely a better movie. It's in my opinion, it's not so contrived, but you know, the end and everything, it's all action movie stuff.
Yeah.
Sir, our telemetry is off. Oh, we're short. Blah, 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 blah. You know, like, okay, yeah, they got to do all the Back to the Future stuff, you know. And that, you know, I got to say, Back to the Future did cause a lot of this, you know, where all the hijinks, because I think, not that movies didn't have that stuff, but Back to the Future definitely is one of the first that I can recall where they just kept raising the stakes, you know, the clock tower, the electric thing gets unplugged. He's got to slide down.
Yeah.
It's all, you know, the ticking clock. It's all just building, and every movie feels like they have to do it.
Yeah.
And I just
everything that can go wrong goes wrong.
Well, you know, he's shooting with the space chute, and you know, like okay, like you know, oh yeah, we got to cover this in plot tarp, and like. Yeah, what happens if that blows away? You know, he's in the vacuum of space. Won't he just get sucked out? You know, I don't know. Tell me physically, what's going to happen if that tarp comes off? Nothing.
In space.
Yeah, it just seemed like that's a pretty risky deal. Did we need that? You know.
Yeah, I don't. You know, again, I'm not an astrophysicist.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming it's a vacuum, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're. Yeah.
Yeah, I just it all felt like, are they doing the second time I'm questioning going, is this all needless? Did we really need all this? It seems hard enough just for him to make it, you know?
Yeah,
but
we
anyway.
don't need all the other stuff.
Like, yeah, it just felt like they just did it just to ratchet up the drama. And it gets a little boring in a sense. Like I wasn't like, oh, is he going to make, oh, geez. You know?
Well, to be fair, both were a little boring. I'm not going to lie. Both films for me.
I'd say The Martian is less boring. I was more interested in The Martian than Project Hail Mary. Project Hail Mary, for sure, the first hour, I thought the first hour was interminable. I looked at my wife, I said, I don't know if I can handle this for 3 hours, because I knew it was a long movie. I was like, this is just
They could have cut a lot out of this.
But then Rocky warmed my heart, God bless him.
Okay, I can't. I can't. The Rocky pushed me over the edge. I was done.
You know, I don't know what it is. I mean, I've seen this. I mean, I was like, this guy's got whiskers, but I felt more interested in the second half than the first half.
That's fair. Yeah.
Anything more we got to say? Are we done in a half hour? Is that it?
I mean, you know, I know both of them were hits. I think Project Hail Mary it was a bigger hit, right? The Martian.
I think they're both. Well, Martian was nominated for Best Picture. Probably Project Hail Mary will too, right?
You think? I don't know. You think? I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised. It made $750 million. It's gonna, they're gonna pay. And Amazon Studios produced it, right?
Yeah.
So they're gonna put, Amazon and Netflix now call the shots, So I don't know.
I hope not. I
think it will be. I'm pretty sure. I'd be shocked if it wasn't, because it's they're gonna say it's Best Picture material. Well, it's not. It's just a pot boiler, really.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean,
I will say this. This is a little off the subject, but I'm looking at the audience just cracking up and loving this film. And okay, I'm a misanthrope. I'm negative. I've been hearing it all my life. But I'm sick of this. Gen X is the FAFO generation. Like, we're so tough. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Again, excuse me. I was there.
Yeah.
Like, no. And if this generation is laughing at this stupid movie, it just proves how much we suck.
Yeah.
Like, you really want to watch E.T. all over again, you dumbasses? Like, you're loving this film. Wasn't the younger generation. It was all my age and older. Just loving this film. I'm like,
well,
no.
I know, like, my daughter liked Rocky, and she's I'm trying to think. She probably a Gen Z, I'm assuming, when she was born. I don't know. I think the Rocky. Well, I shouldn't say Rocky. I think the relationship with Ryan Gosling and Rocky, it was tender. Sorry, I'm just laughing. I mean, they're like, "Oh, that's so cute." It's like,
it was standard issue. Fall in love with your stranger routine, or fall in love with the enemy or the unknown. It was standard issue ET stuff. Like, okay, but I don't know. I mean, it was a 3-hour movie or whatever, 2 hours and 40 minutes, however long it was. I did feel it picked up in the second half.
No, it was definitely the first hour was a grind for me. Like, it was slow.
But it was slow, but to me, I just thought it was me off. Like, I'd say it, to me, does a movie work? And I didn't leave the theater going, that didn't work. It worked. I will say, okay, ultimately it worked, but I didn't like, I'd say the first half, I thought the movie wasn't going to work. I was like, this isn't working. I was just looking at my wife going, what the hell's happening? I have there's no context for this. And honestly, once the film came together, I don't even know why he lost his memory. It didn't really affect the story whatsoever.
Maybe it was the drugs in the.
I just like, but this sort of whodunit, it didn't affect. You could have removed every single flashback, and we'd know just as much as we know to follow the story, because it didn't matter how the crew died.
Yeah, no, it was true. Yeah.
And I just thought, so I just was kind of irritated for the first half, going, and then he finds the alien, and like, okay. They solved the problem. It just became a buddy movie. It was a reasonably interesting visual experience, Yeah. When they just his spaceship and all the things that they were doing. I thought, okay, it's fairly engaging as just a standard issue. Like I say, a pot boiler, page turner pot boiler. It succeeded as, okay, I'm not bored anymore. But first hour, I thought it was a snooze, Yeah. And then once they got going to the Rocky, not that I was so like, I like Rocky. I can't wait for them to get back to Rocky. When Rocky died, I was like, oh, that's cool. But then he didn't die. I was like, oh, man. I was like, okay, good. He met this alien and it died. I thought that'd be kind of cool. I was like, bold choice, but they didn't stick with it.
No. You got to have the happy ending, in the film.
No, in terms of a movie, it was as conventional as it gets, okay.
It would have been interesting if they had for all the conspiracy buffs that listen to the podcast, of the Galactic Battalion and all the alien species trying to save Earth.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's out there, but it's like there's a lot of people that believe that, and maybe Rocky was part of the Galactic Battalion coming to, You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, not really. Is it what all these spaceship sightings is that
Well, the Galactic Battalion is a bunch of different ET species, like, and there's names for them, and I can't pull them out of my mind. But they're trying to, save Earth from what we're doing to Earth, and at least that would have been an interesting twist,
Well, I think with all the space, like so-called sightings we have today, it'd be fine if Rocky had been to Earth or something.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter. I mean, the movie's fine as it is. I don't need it, but I, I just feel the first half we could have dealt more with them making contact with Rocky, but then it would be too much like Arrival, I suppose. Because it was like they compacted Arrival into like a 20-minute or 10-minute sequence of him learning the language.
Yeah.
And then, believe me, I was not like I was wiping tears away from my eyes when they were watching Rocky, the Stallone movie, or looking at trees and all that. Like, I could have done without all of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just would have thought it was better if they were just constantly trying to solve that problem.
Yeah, and the Harry Styles music. That's, it would have been cooler if it was Khan coming out from Star Trek.
Sure.
That would have been cool. I'd have been like, okay, this is interesting now. Instead of a rock alien. Anyway, I couldn't take it.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been awesome. That would have made the movie.
It was this untitled Star Trek prequel.
That's right.
And he just kills Ryan Gosling at the end and goes back to sleep. Goes back to sleep to be found by Captain Kirk.
Yeah, that would have. See, I think we have some ideas, dude. We can fix this.
Yeah, strip. Ryan Gosling. Let's talk. So you like? I like Ryan Gosling generally. He did a great job in Blade Runner, 2049. But he does a lot of Saturday Night Live, and it felt like he was in Saturday Night Live mode for this film.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, I liked him in the Blade Runner, although it wasn't as good as the original Blade Runner as a film.
As discussed
I liked him
in our podcast.
Yeah. Yes.
But he did a good job in that. And so lately he's been sort of on this jokey little tour of films where he's always, what was that movie he did with Russell Crowe? What the hell, that movie? I forgot what it's called already.
Tell me the plot and I can maybe help you.
Yeah, it's a Lethal Weapon. It's Shane Black. It's a Lethal Weapon clone with Russell Crowe and him. It takes place in the 70s.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember the name, but I know what you're talking about.
But yeah. Anyway, I think he's fine. I didn't like him in this. I'd even prefer Matt Damon. So, interestingly, Matt Damon, he was rumored to play Captain Kirk in the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie. And then they said he was too old, which Chris Pine barely looked younger than Matt Damon at that point.
They look the same to me.
Yeah, and I'm like, Matt Damon would have been a great choice as Captain Kirk, I think. And now that he's getting old, we're all getting older, he looks like T.J. Hooker era William Shatner. His nose is flattening, his face is getting puffy. It's like, doing perfect. Give him that curly wig.
Yeah.
Make him the Kirk era, the Star Trek II Wrath of Khan era William Shatner. Matt Damon would be perfect.
I think he's a good actor. I just don't like him for some reason in a lot of his films. I like him in the Bourne Identity.
Bourne Identity, and I like him in The Talented Mr. Ripley. You ever see Talented Mr. Ripley?
Yeah, he was creepy.
He's fantastic in that.
Yeah.
Like, that's where he proved he could act.
Yeah.
He just, I don't know. I think lately something's up. He's been kind of lame lately. I don't know why. It's not like I've seen any movies that.
Ryan Gosling in Project Hail Mary kind of felt like, how Ryan Reynolds is getting?
Well, it's just getting.
Okay, but you know what I mean. Like, everything is.
He's one of those I've never understood the love.
Yeah.
Even back when he was on that pizza place show, I was like, how the hell that guy make it? So I was.
But
always
everything's
like,
a joke. He's joking, and
I
for the first hour, to his credit, he was, not. I don't know. Even though it was boring, he was a little more serious. It seemed like in the first hour of the film, but maybe I'm
really.
I
thought the drinking and all that seemed out of character for.
But that was on the ship, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking before he went up in space. Like
Oh,
when he was a teacher, he was just
yeah.
kind of,
Well, we're shooting back and forth anyway. His character as a teacher was fine, but again, that gag as Whiskers too. It's the Walter White syndrome. The guy who's
oh
a
yeah,
genius who ends up as a stupid little teacher in a stupid little
teacher,
school.
yeah,
Like, well,
yeah,
don't like if they're that smart, wouldn't they just have another gig?
yeah,
I've never met this teacher who was just like this super genius who would have been as big as Bill Gates. I've just never met that person in my
yeah.
life.
Dan
So,
Johnson, my dad.
all right, except for your dad, of course.
No,
It's just I've just never met that person in real life. Like it just seemed like, oh, so he just ends up as a teacher, even though he's weren't you the so and so? I forget the lines of it. If it
yeah,
would be, it's because you told I told the science chair to stick it up his keister. Like it's always like, oh
yeah,
yeah, because you're
yeah.
too much of a rebel. I just thought the movie was like, come on, this is corny. you know.
That stuff never happens. Whatever your academic professor doing your dissertation, you just do what they say. You just want to get done. You don't argue. Hey, you
Yeah.
got to fix this on your dissertation. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Anyway,
You're
it's his. What do you
jumping
have
through
that
hoops.
theory? He had the theory, right, about the what's it called?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I
What's
can't remember the theory,
you
but
just said it?
I did.
Yeah.
Oh,
What's the
I just said a
no at the beginning
dissertation.
of the show? What's the thing that was the Sun Eater or whatever it was called? The particle.
Astrophage.
Yeah, he had the
Yeah, yeah,
theory on that, right? In
yeah.
the script.
I that's right. Yeah,
So he had the theory or something. You may be a jerkwad, but you just so happen to have the theory that we like. Whatever. It was
yeah,
just like, oh, brother. It all just seemed like by the book. It just box checker. It was just a box checking movie, in my opinion. So again, didn't feel like hard science, and it felt like way more cliche than The Martian.
yeah, yeah. I
All
agree
right,
with
so
that.
let's just do the routine. So as we wind down here, so just head to head, Gosling or Damon? Damon, Gosling, Gosling, Damon.
Although because the film's better, I'm going to say Damon.
Wow, wow, you just first you were ripping on Damon, now you like him.
Well, I don't like either. I mean, I don't like Ryan Gosling in this character. They're both annoying in a lot of ways. So, but the film is better. So I'm going to go with Damon.
Okay, so who did you like better between Jessica Chastain or Sandra Hüller?
Um, I think that Sandra played her part well. Like she
Really?
was just cutthroat, you know.
But she also could
She
sing.
she could sing and she was nice to him. And then when
Then she
push came to
drugged him.
shove, she
Drugged him and
drugged him.
sent him up to
Yeah,
space.
yeah, yeah. But her part seems smaller though, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, it was his show.
Yeah,
It was definitely a showcase for Ryan Gosling.
yeah,
Uh yeah, you got this whole cast of characters in The Martian, and then you got this basically a solitary performance with a robot,
yeah.
the puppeteer slash voice actor. Yeah, I don't think there's no comparison of supporting actors. This
No,
guy, I don't think. Oh, this guy Ortiz, he's just won my heart as Rocky. I mean,
yeah.
like,
Rocky. I mean, come on,
yeah.
You have Jim Henson Muppets up there, so
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, I will just say that, as I said in the beginning, that Chiwetel Ejiofor was just underused. Like he's nominated for 12 Years a Slave. He does a great job in that movie, and then he's just been like they forgot about him or something. He's been in the Doctor Strange movies. There's a great actor who's not given much work, I think. So in this, I think the beginning is The Martian, where he's just sort of cast aside and given jokes, and when he should have been much more serious. He should have been James Earl Jones serious in that
Yeah,
kind of role. Like that's the role he had.
but that's under the direction of
Ridley Scott.
Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, it's the script. I think it's the screenplay, and Ridley Scott probably like, oh, whatever. These kids like to joke. Okay, fine. All right. They like jokes these days.
Yeah. He's kind of put out some, since
Well,
Blade Runner.
yeah.
Again,
I can't forgive him for Alien Covenant. That was just the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, Gladiator wasn't that great either.
Well, Gladiator, he's still trying. I don't like Gladiator for stylistic. I don't like Gladiator for a lot of reasons. I think the script is thin, and it's just a lot of stuff I don't like about it. But I get why people like it. At least it's an effort.
Yeah.
I will say Gladiator is an effort, but Alien Covenant, not so much. Not such a.
And didn't he do the Duel, right? Wait, what was it with Matt Damon?
Oh yeah, the Duel. Yeah.
Again, I didn't like Matt Damon in that one that much either. I don't know.
He was playing an idiot, with the mullet.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think he was. I like that.
He
fight.
was up to the task.
He liked that fight. I like that fight.
Yeah.
All right. So special effects. We want to talk. So Greg Fraser did the cinematography before special effects. Greg Fraser did the cinematography for the Project Hail Mary, and he's done Dune. He's like he did Batman, the Batman. He's like the premier cinematographer right now. So Project Hail Mary looked great. I'll give him that.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
And both films look. I mean, Ridley Scott's films never look bad. Even Alien Covenant looks really good for the piece of crap that it is. So yeah, cinematography, no complaints. Music, I'd say music's fine in both films. Seems like pop music plays more of a role in each. Disco, and then, as you say, Harry Styles.
Harry Styles, yeah. Sign of the times.
Yeah.
It's stuck in my head from that movie. Yeah.
Direction. So Ridley Scott does a better job. So Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, they've done, like, are you aware of who they are? They did Lego Movie, and they did Cloudy and the Chance of Meatball animated films, and they've done the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse animated films.
I mean,
their live action films are 21 and 22 Jump Street, and I maybe a couple others.
You mean the comedy 21 Jump Street?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't like the first one. I thought the first one was terrible, but for some reason everybody liked it. I thought the sequel was legitimately funny. I legitimately laughed at the sequel. Did you see?
I haven't seen the second one.
I didn't. Okay, so Dave, is somebody who hated the first. I hated what the first movie was saying. Sort of, kind of a anger at the disrespect for the older generation. I just thought they were being.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the attitude going on in that film. The second movie I thought was really funny. I actually had, to me, as I always say, my criteria is 3 solid belly laughs, and I had 3 solid belly laughs in that film. Or they did funnier things in the second one, and all under the packaging of, well, it's a sequel, we have to be bigger and dumber, and like they kind of make fun of the fact that it's a sequel, and so they sort of have a meta commentary on second movies and having way more money, and because the first movie they didn't expect much. So it's funny. Ice Cube is really funny in it. Like, he has really funny scenes, so it's a funnier movie. Do
you think when there's 2 directors, you kind of lose a little direction in the movie?
I don't know. The Coen brothers do it. I think people can do it. They work well together. Again, I bought Cloudy and the Chance of Meatballs for my son when it came. Like, we saw it, and I remember being completely surprised that it was funny. And I did not like the concept, because it took a children's book and completely rewrote it. Like, I thought, okay, they're just making this loud and obnoxious for kids, because this quiet, sort of silly, play on words. And I don't know if you ever saw the book Cloudy and the Chance of Meatballs. You being a children's author like me, 2 children's authors here.
Yes, right. Yeah.
So I just thought, okay, that's gonna be stupid. And they wrote a script, and they stuck to their premise, and it was funny. Like, okay, it's not the book, but as an idea from the book, it was fun. I enjoyed it. So I remember thinking that was a real coup to make a funny movie out of this sort of, silly little wordplay book.
Yeah.
And anyway, I didn't love the Lego Movie. I thought the Lego Movie was sort of
I like Will Arnett as Batman.
Yeah.
I like his voice. he was the only thing I liked about it.
But the Lego movie, it what did it copy? It felt like another movie just like it, where the same thing happened. I'm forgetting right now, but I remember just not loving it, thinking, okay,
Yeah.
whatever. So I think they're okay directors. I think their Spider-Man movie was good, but they
Oh,
just
I haven't.
produced that.
That's the animated one,
The
right?
first one, yeah, but I
Yeah,
don't love
yeah.
those films because I'm a Peter Parker fan all the way. To me, again, I've said this before on other podcasts, but take the '60s Steve Ditko and Stanley Spider-Man and use the animation techniques and quality of Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse and go back and make those great comic books into animated movies because they
Yeah.
are great. The reason why we like Spider-Man is because of those. So anyway, don't get me on that tangent, but that's the deal. And I just think, yeah, like, oh, and then they won the Oscar for best animated film. We made a film for people who look like Miles. Like, well, the
Yeah.
real approach is make a good film. Period. Black or white, like
Yeah.
my idol Michael Jackson would say.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so I think Ridley Scott, as sturdy and as predictable as his direction was, he did the better job.
I agree. Yeah.
All right. Well, you recommend either film?
I mean, if you're like hardcore science, I think The Martian is there. It's there. If you just want to go to a film that's 3 hours long and not think too much and, speculative science outside the mathematics, I think, yeah, Project Hail Mary. I mean,
as I was walking out of the theater, I overheard one of the oldies tell his friend, "That was unique. I want to see that again." And I'm like, see, that's the problem. That movie was not unique whatsoever, you jerk. No, sorry, poor guy. Who am I? It's all Christian
But
love
I think,
here. But
like you said,
it's not unique. That's the problem. The film is like, this was a hodgepodge.
Yeah, it did. And I back to your point, Christopher Nolan, Interstellar. I mean, I think
my problem with Chris, my problem, I like, okay, the last vestige or the last hope for humankind, whatever.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before. Maybe we'll do the film at some point. But the best part is the time jump, But then it gets into that labyrinthian string theory, like space and time, where he had like it, and it's like what I said about The Martian. Like, dude, we know he's gonna come back and the daughter's gonna warn the father, and we know where this is going. We know where this is going. Do you have to just make this so endlessly complex and boring? That's my problem with that film. Like, just keep it moving, Chris. But no, that's not what he's gonna do. Just like Tenet and all his other films, he just wants to make us like, I guess I'm supposed to be confused or something, but I'm not. I'm just bored. I know where this is going, dummy. You think it's all complex, but it's not. She's going to be warned.
Speaking of science fiction movies, and I just watched it. It's on Netflix, and this is way off topic, but since we're, would I recommend The Martian and Project Hail Mary? Yeah, I guess, but they're not my favorite. I did watch Source Code, and I hadn't seen that in a while, and I don't think it was a big hit, but the concept was really fascinating.
I saw that. Yeah.
I thought the concept was cool.
That's a Jake Gyllenhaal one, right?
Yeah, where they keep inserting his consciousness in this time loop.
Yeah. That was, you're right. That was fine.
Yeah. Anyway,
I have to see it again. It's been a while, but I remember thinking that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're not joking in that one, by the way.
Well, Ken, treat your premise seriously, even if you have jokes in it.
Yeah.
Roseanne and I just talked about the drama. The drama, it makes a comedy out of the most horrifying, serious subject matter, and it works because they treat the subject. It's not like the jokes don't undercut the drama, and that's the main thing. Obviously, I'm the funniest guy around. No, but you know what I mean. I'm not like I'm against jokes. It's just like jokes come when they're earned. And when you start joking immediately, you've destroyed the credibility of the characters, And that's
I
probably
agree.
what those guys got fired from. The Christopher Miller and Phil Lord got fired from the Solo movie. Again, I wasn't there. I don't know. But the Hollywood rumor has always been that it was too jokey. And it was probably a tone problem. You know, and they waited a long time before they fired them. So they're probably putting things together going, this tone is too comedic. Now, again, I don't know if they're the problem or the script was the problem, because it's the same screenwriters. And it wasn't their screenplay for Project Hail Mary. But I'd say right off the bat, it had a tone problem.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well
okay.
said.
Well, thanks, Dave.
Thanks
you everyone for listening. Stick around, I guess. Or stick around. We'll see. I never know what I'm saying at the end. We hope you'll come back for our next great podcast soon, which will, I guess, because we're duty bound by society to watch The Mandalorian and Grogu. But I'm telling you first, right off, I don't really want to see it.
Maybe you'll be surprised. Maybe you'll be, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna go watch it. So I think it'd be. We owe it to all of our many fans out there.
Yeah, they're dying to know what we thought of a film that nobody likes. All right.
Yeah, that's right. All right.
All right.
Thanks,
bye, everybody. Gene. Thank you for listening to Fabulous Film and Friends. Copyright 2026, a Bel Air Films production.